Good evening, fam. Tonight is going to be a little bit of an ad hoc video. I'm going to describe the layout I'm going to be building, how I discovered it, how I came up with the plan, and kind of the background of why I chose this plan. I've always been an avid fan of the model railroader Pelle Søeborg. He lives over in Europe, and he models North America, mainly Union Pacific. I've just always been impressed by his modeling. He definitely has a sense of proportionality, how to develop a scene. He's a natural modeler. He knows how to airbrush, knows how to weather, knows how to lay track, knows how to do scenery, and he just kind of looks at it and he figures it out. So I really admire his work. Also admire the work of Eric Bruman, who does the Utah Belt. But these are kind of my main guys right here. And also Bob Gretsch, got a shout out to Bob Gretsch, and Steve Nelson, who are also some of my favorite model railroaders. But anyway, so as far as Pelle, if you're not really aware of who he is, he's written a number of books and articles for Model Railroader magazine. But here are some of his books: Scenery Techniques Done in a Day. So he's got all these books. He's a wealth of information. As I said in my previous video, I built a layout in my garage. I based it off of Pelle Søeborg's original Caliente, I forget how to pronounce it, layout. And basically, I had built this. I got all the bench work done, all the track was laid, I was running trains, I started to ballast and do scenery, and then I had to move. But this was the inspiration for the layout I built in another home we had many, many years ago. I wanted to build something similar. This wouldn't really fit directly very well. I could fit it in my garage, but I was online looking for something a little different. And so I'll show you what I came upon. There's a gentleman he has a page called Bob's Track Plans. He does design work, track plan designs. And Bob here designed a layout for J. Eckhart. He wanted to base it on Pelle Søeborg's original layout plan. And so I just stumbled across this, and I will show you what that layout looks like. And here is the layout. It's very similar to what Pelle Søeborg's original layout as it was based on it. But again, it's got this kind of, I'll put them side by side. As you can see, it has kind of the same, this is rotated 90 degrees from that, but it's the same basic design elements. But here's the difference. If you look at J. Eckhart's plan here, it's got a little more variation for operation. You know, you've got these kind of tracks here. You've got a business here. Looks like maybe you could have tank cars coming here. You've got a business here. You've got a business here. And you've got probably like a cement something or other. And then you got another business here. And you got another business here. With Pelle's plan, you don't really get, you get maybe one thing here and you got maybe one thing here. You don't really get that. So I like this plan because it gives a little more chance to do operations, to do some switching. Now, let me show you the second part of this plan. Here's the plan side by side. Here's the top part of the plan. Let me zoom in a little bit. This is the top part. And it's designed with staging underneath. So if you look here, train goes around this way. It comes, you follow my mouse. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but it goes underneath the track. It goes down a grade as it goes down here. It goes down a grade, and it comes up under here. If you look at the side, and then it goes around this loop here, and you can put maybe smaller switching trains or whatever. But you do have a little bit of staging, and then go back to the plan over here. And then it comes around out the side. It's continuous running, and that's what I like. I don't really want reverse loops or point to point because I don't have the space. But if I had the space, I would do that. But again, here's the layout, and it's perfect for what I want to do. I'm going to show you what I did with this plan here. This is, I think I said it was 13.5 by 17. I have an envelope of 14 by 18 feet. So I'm going to show you what I did with this plan. Is I imported it into AnyRail 7. I have AnyRail as a CAD program. And as you can see here, here's the plan. I imported it and I rotated it counterclockwise 90 degrees. So you say, why did you import it? The reason I did it is what I could do is I used it as a template. Now let me take away the image, and what you can see is I overlaid that template with track, with the various sections of track and how and how I'm going to design the layout. And basically, I know the radius turns I'm going to use, and so on and so forth. Again, I overlaid flex track and turnouts over the layout here, as you can see. And that way, and what was nice is Bob, who drew this layout, he must have used AnyRail 7 because it was very easy to overlay sections of track and turnouts. There's a little bit of goofiness here, but what I learned is I want this radius right here of this turn. Now, the radius of this turn right here is 30 inches. I do not want 30 inches. I want 33 as a minimum. So I'm going to show you in my next plan. I'm going to expand it out. I'm going to push it out another foot this way and push it out another foot, half a foot this way. But I've got all the bases here of everything. I've got, again, the different turnouts. If you can see in the track plan, you can see they put all the turnouts in here are number 6. Or, yeah, number 6 unless marked. So this is a number 8, but I actually put a number 10 in there. I want a number 10, at least one number 10. This would be a 6. These are identified as all number 4s. This is a number 6. That's a number 6. That's a curved turnout. That is, what do I have that is? That is an Atlas code 83, 30 degree, 30 inch turnout. So right there. So what's nice is when Bob drew this up, I could easily overlay it with track. So now let me show you what I did so far. And then I'm going to get to where the speed mode part comes in. Garage level 2. Save that. Yeah, save that. Okay. Now, here is kind of a working rough draft. So I've got a lot of different sections of track here, and I've got a little different track here that I can move and play around with. As you can see here, I've got other track. So what I've done here is I actually have now a piece of a 33 inch radius. As you can see, 33 inches. So what I did is I moved this forward this way a foot and then up half an inch. So I could get in this 33 inch radius here. This is, I believe this should be details. This should be, it says 32, but I'll make it a 33. So, okay, so far as the speed mode goes, how do I make this into modules? My goal is to have the minimal amount of cross sections. For example, I don't want to have the module split here, where I'd have to have joined all these different sections of track together. It wouldn't look good. Like I said, I don't want to cut modules along groups of track like down here. I don't want to cut along here because that's too many track sections that need to fit together. Where I do want to cut along is maybe here where there's one track, and then cut down here where there's 2 tracks, and then, have my module cut. What I've determined is this section here is going to be my main module. So I'm going to have to build this. I still got to figure out the dimensions, but it's going to be somewhere around, if you could see here, it's going to be somewhere around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 feet long, which might be really long, and about, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 feet wide. That's going to be a challenge right here. Making this into one big module and then being able to store it, maybe separate it down the middle, down this center way here, and have to join or cut all these together. So this could be Yeah, cutting a module here, but the visible track will only be cut in one place. It would be like right around here. And then right down there. So that probably would be a better option to have two modules. But then again, I got this big split right here. So anyway, again, I got to think it through and just see how it is because I got to store these two modules. My one thought I had is if I could have some way where I could rotate this over on its side, but then I thought I do have enough room to keep this horizontal where I wouldn't have to tip it up on its side to store it. But there's again, I want to minimize cutting track and where the module sections are. So I think, as I have here, this whole area would be one module. And then, this would be a module. And then down here would be a module. But again, it's, I got to draw out the plan. I got to get all the dimensions together. And I have to kind of think out how I'm going to do this. I definitely want to hear your thoughts. Put your thoughts below. Give me some tips. Give me some ideas. Again, using the SpeedMo methodology of building a module, it's going to need to be lightweight. It's going to need to use that kind of honeycomb structural method. And it'll be interesting under here because I'm going to have tracks underneath it. So I probably underneath here would have an open area with maybe honeycomb in here. And then definitely in this area here, there would be like that honeycomb open spaces to give it strength yet lightweight. So definitely this is a journey. This is an engineering journey. Here's the original plan here. Here's what I have so far. So there's the track. Again, it was easy to overlay it onto the template because I believe the gentleman Bob who drew the layout used AnyRail because it just fit just right. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. Again, please leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you and get some ideas. Everybody have a great evening and a great weekend. Talk to you later. Bye.